Denver, Colorado was a location where we smuggled in narcotics. Girls, we had a massage parlor. We had a lot of stuff going on in Denver. Red oversaw that versus me being in Tokyo and Japan. And Red called me from Denver to Tokyo and started talking strange. You know, he wanted to close up shop. Basically, he wanted to do the last dope deal. He wanted to just stop. And he had a Bible in his hand. This is the way, this Bible, this is how we can do it, man. I don't know how to do what you're talking about. I don't even want to do that, man. And so I said, well, you know what? Let's conclude the dope deal for today, and we'll talk about this later. With Red, it was no later. I get in the car in the back seat with the Colombians. I knew these guys. We had been doing business before, so I really didn't feel my whole attitude was coming from Red. You know, his trip about changing our life with the Bible. You know, that thing. So I was like, ah. So anyway, as we was driving along to pick up the money, they saw me not paying attention. The bullet disintegrated my jawbone, cracked my skull, went through my ear canal. And I grabbed the gun, boom, he shot me again. And, you know, the bullet went through my nose quickly, through the roof of my mouth, down my throat, hit my spine. So now I got a death grip on his hand because you know, my spine has just been, and I'm paralyzed with holding the gun. So now he's trying to get his hand loose and they pulling the car over, so the other guy take out a knife, I guess, I don't know what that was about, but anyway, they went to stabbing me, stabbed me 16 times in the area that, you know, over the seat, so most of it is all in my head and the upper part of my body to, I guess, break this grip I have or to make sure I die or whatever, but he's stabbing me. They threw me out of the car. The terrible thing about that was that I was conscious. All that I am is there, right there in my face. The little boy, full of insecurities, full of addictions, full of hate, full of everything. You know, I guess if you ever really look inside yourself, you wouldn't like what you see. So there I am, you know, stuck with this big old nothing. 911, the paramedics showed up, and they pronounced me dead at the scene from loss of blood. And then when they continued the examination, they classified it as a murder, and they called it in. And they said he's DOA. You know, he's already dead. You know, by the time we get to the hospital, when we arrive, he's still gonna be dead. So that's dead on arrival, that sort of thing. Which, you know, when the prosecutor came in, he had to know that I was dead to charge this man with murder. I'm at the hospital, you know, they cutting me open. I still have the autopsy scar. You know, they cut me open, crack open my chest, you know, that kind of thing.
The next call that I got was from Denver General Hospital, the emergency unit, and they were calling me, asking me, was my name Kiro Moses, and that was I the fiance of Isaiah Reed. And I assumed that that was his name. And so I said yes, and they said, come to find out, Isaiah had been shot twice in the head and stabbed 16 times. He was pronounced dead on arrival.
The prostitutes are there, the police officer and the prosecutor attorney. Here's his mother's number, call him. So now my mother get the call from the doctor. No, my son is not dead, let me pray for him. So he says, you know what? You know, what's gonna happen when you pray? She said, if nothing don't happen, then you can do what you want, but put my voice over the intercom, because my son, my baby know when I pray. Anyway, my mother begins to pray, call on God, ask God to fulfill and remember her, you know, his handmaid, you know what I mean? Talking in tongues, now they really think she's hysterical. You know, they think she's crazy, but God answers. 3 years later, 1989, this around Christmas time, December 27th, we having another drug deal, selling dope, prostitutes. I'm shooting heroin in my neck. I'm trying to get high and make my money. And one of the prostitutes just start tripping, what we call here in America, twigging, you know. I want to kill myself. I'm tired of life. You don't love nobody kind of thing. I said, you know what, you need to chill. Paul, he's there. He's saying, man, you need to help or we're going to get busted. And I try to give Lisa some money. She slaps the money out of my hand. I try to give her some cocaine. She slaps the drugs out of my hand. The only thing I can do now is to, you know, knock her out, punch her in her head. So I try to get Lisa to come closer to me, and I draw back my fist to punch her. And as I get ready to swing, all of a sudden I say, let me pray for you. You know, what is that about? And Paul said, pray, man, you must be really high. I want some dope, make you pray. Break out the staff. But when I said pray, Lisa calmed down. I mean, she got quiet as a church mouse. But I said, maybe she's running the game, you know, so just to humor Lisa, let's pretend like we praying. Come on, Paul. Paul says, well, I know what you're supposed to do. Close your eyes. I said, close my eyes. Last time I closed my eyes, I got shot in the head twice. You close your eyes. So he said, well, let's hold hands. I said, hold hands? I said, yeah, let's hold hands. He said, hold hands? I said, yeah. He said, man, you done got queer? I said, who dope is? He said, okay, let's hold hands. So we begin to hold hands, and they looking at me getting frustrated. I'm trying to figure this out. And all of a sudden, I begin to talk to the Lord. You know, in my own language, nothing religious. I'm saying, check this out. You know, Lisa's down here tripping, you know, maybe it's the dope, I don't know, but, you know, you need to give her a chill pill so she can chill. And, you know, we don't want to interrupt what you're doing upstairs, but you're the man upstairs. And it's around Christmas time. This is your thing anyway, jingle bells, you know, that kind of thing. Whatever you can do for us at this particular time, we really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you the man, right? And we're signing off, kind of a thing. And next thing I know, God called me by name. Isaiah, what about you? I'm like, I must be tripping. So I think somebody's playing a game on me. So I'm looking around the room. I'm looking at Paul. I said, did you hear that? He's like, come, are we finished yet? What's happening? And I'm looking at Sheila. She's still tweaking. But Lisa, she's just as quiet as church mouse. I said, man, this is crazy. Isaiah, what about you? What about your life? You need anything? I'm like, no, I don't need. You know, this was about Lisa. You know, I'm cool, you know. He said, no, you got a lot of things going on in you. Don't you know you can be free? I said, I'm not in bondage. I'm cool, man. You know, I just want to do my thing. But we're talking. And then all of a sudden, something in me, a little boy cries out, help me. Don't leave me like this. Don't leave me like this. Next thing I know, we're not standing, we're on the floor crying, weeping, repenting, asking for forgiveness, saying how sorry we was. I mean, we're mopping that floor up with our tears. I mean, it's a shameful thing. 2 dope dealers, 2 prostitutes screaming and crying. But the peace and the love of God is just cleansing and flushing the stuff out, washing and just changing me.